This lesson, we'll learn how to rationalize the denominator of expressions that involve surds. Now, the point of this here is to rationalize, which means to make a rational number, the denominator. So you can see in question A, we have 8 on root 2. And root 2 is an irrational number. And we don't want to have an irrational number in the denominator. We want to rationalize it. So the way to do a question with just one surd in the denominator, we will multiply that by that particular surd, root 2 on root 2, because root 2 divided by root 2 is 1. So your question is not going to change. It's still going to be 8 on root 2. So you're going to get 8 times root 2 divided by root 2 times root 2, which is root 4, which is 2, like that. So 8 on 2 can be cancelled. So we end up with 4 on root 2 for that question. Now, question B, C, and D, we need to multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. The conjugate. So what's the conjugate of 3 minus root 2? The conjugate means that this sign in the middle will change. So we multiply by 3 plus root 2 on 3 plus root 2. So we'll write that out as 6 bracket 3 plus root 2. And the denominator is 3 minus root 2 times 3 plus root 2. But recall your difference of squares rule. We can write this as 3 squared minus root 2 all squared. So we're going to get 6 times 3, which is 18, plus 6 times root 2, which is 6 root 2, divided by 3 squared, which is 9, minus root 2 squared, which is 2. So you'll get 18 plus 6 root 2 on 7. And there's no need to simplify the numerator because it won't cancel with the 7 anyway. So we can stop at that point there. In question C, we use the same procedure. The conjugate of 3 minus root 2 is 3 plus root 2. So multiply that top and bottom, and then we expand. So let's write it out actually as 4 plus root 8 times 3 plus root 2 divided by, using the difference of squares rule, that would be 3 squared minus root 2 squared. So in the numerator, we'll expand it. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times root 2 is 4 root 2. Root 8 times 3 is 3 root 8. And root 8 times root 2 would be root 16. Divided by 3 squared is 9, minus root 2 squared is 2. And the top line, we can simplify a bit. We've got 12 plus 4 root 2. Now, root 8 can be simplified to 2 root 2, the root 8. So that would be 3 times 2, which is 6 root 2. And root 16 is 4. Divided by 7. So now we can add our numbers. We'll get 12 plus 4, which is 16. And 4 root 2 plus 6 root 2 is 10 root 2. Divided by 7. And there's no more that needs to be simplified there. So that's finished. And 7 is our rational denominator there. In question D, you should look if you can simplify this first, and we can. We've got 3 root 2 minus 4, which is fine. But then you've got 2 root 3 minus 3 root 3, which is negative root 3 in this case. So we don't need to use the conjugate of 2 root 3 minus 3 root 3 because we can already simplify it. to this stage. Now you've got negative root 3, and if we want a positive denominator, why don't we multiply that by negative root 3 top and bottom, like that. So we've got negative root 3 multiplied by 3 root 2 minus 4, divided by negative root 3 times negative root 3 will be 3. So we can expand the numerator. Negative root 3 times 3 root 2 will be negative 3 root 6. Negative 4 times negative root 3 would be 4 root 3, divided by 3. Thanks for watching.